Desolation's eternal night. In the ethereal realm of the Fae, where the veil between reality and fantasy is thin, Titania, the queen of the Seelie court, and Oberon, the king, ruled with a beauty that masked their twisted hearts. They had grown weary of the mortal world, with its fleeting emotions and fragile ambitions. The time had come for them to reveal their true disdain for mankind. Titania, with her silver hair cascading like moonlight, and Oberon, with eyes that held the depth of an ancient forest, convened in the moonlit glade at the heart of the enchanted forest. The air crackled with magic as they plotted the downfall of humanity. They felt betrayed by mortals who had forgotten the wonders of the mystical, lost in their mundane existence. The fairy monarchs devised a plan to sow discord among humans. Titania, with her beguiling charm, would infiltrate the dreams of influential leaders, whispering lies and sparking paranoia. Oberon, master of illusions, would manipulate the minds of artists and poets, turning their creativity into a weapon against mankind. As their dark influence spread, chaos erupted in the mortal realm. Wars were waged over imagined slights, alliances shattered like fragile glass, and the once stable world plunged into an abyss of despair. The fairy monarchs reveled in the turmoil, watching from their hidden realm as mortals tore each other apart. Yet, as the twisted fantasy unfolded, a lone mortal caught the attention of Titania and Oberon. A young artist named Alara, with a heart as wild and untamed as the faeries themselves, sensed the malevolence seeping into the world. Her paintings, inspired by visions from the mystical realm, revealed glimpses of the faeries' true nature. Intrigued by Alara's defiance, Titania and Oberon decided to toy with her fate. Titania appeared to Alara in a dream, tempting her with promises of power and immortality in exchange for her allegiance. Oberon, in the guise of a mysterious muse, whispered dark secrets that fueled Alara's art. Unbeknownst to the faeries, Alara possessed a strength that transcended mortal frailty. Her heart, untainted by the faeries' influence, yearned for a world where beauty and chaos coexisted in harmony. As the faeries tightened their grip on the mortal realm, Alara embarked on a perilous journey to confront the fairy monarchs and restore balance. The final confrontation took place in the heart of the enchanted forest, where reality and illusion converged. Alara faced Titania and Oberon, her spirit ablaze with determination. The fairy monarchs, amused by her audacity, underestimated the resilience of the human spirit. In a crescendo of magic and emotion, Alara challenged the faeries' disdain for mankind. She spoke of the beauty found in mortal imperfections, the strength born from adversity, and the capacity for love that surpassed the faeries' cold enchantments. As her words echoed through the enchanted glade, the faeries wavered, their hearts stirred by the truth within her plea. In a moment of unexpected vulnerability, Titania and Oberon acknowledged the depth of their own twisted desires. They realized that, in their quest to punish mankind, they had become the very darkness they despised. Torn between their disdain for humanity and a newfound understanding, the fairy monarchs retreated to their realm, leaving the mortal world to heal. Alara, having woven a tapestry of redemption, returned to her world as an artist with a vision that bridged the realms of reality and fantasy. The mortal realm, scarred by the faeries' influence, began to heal as the enchantments waned. And so, in the tapestry of existence, the threads of darkness and light intertwined, creating a story of twisted fantasy that reminded both faeries and mortals of the delicate balance that bound their fates. However, the fairy monarch's retreat was not an admission of defeat, it was a strategic withdrawal. Unbeknownst to Alara and the healing mortal realm, Titania and Oberon hatched a darker plan in the shadows of their enchanted realm. Fueled by resentment and wounded pride, the fairy monarchs delved deeper into forbidden magic, seeking ancient and malevolent forces that lurked in the abyss. They forged an alliance with the Unseelie court, a realm of darkness and chaos that mirrored the twisted depths of their own hearts. Together, Titania and Oberon unleashed a wave of corrupting magic upon the enchanted forest, twisting its once vibrant and mystical essence into a nightmarish landscape. Trees turned into gnarled and grotesque creatures, and the air resonated with the anguished cries of tortured spirits. The fairy folk, once beings of ethereal beauty, were now corrupted and transformed into grotesque, malevolent creatures. Alara, sensing the growing darkness, realized that her journey was far from over. As she ventured back into the enchanted forest, she encountered the twisted remnants of the fairy realm. Shadows whispered dark secrets, and the once majestic creatures now hunted her with malice in their eyes. Titania and Oberon, now draped in shadows, reveled in the chaos they had wrought. They manifested in front of Alara, their once regal forms now twisted and monstrous. The fairy monarchs taunted her, accusing Alara of being the catalyst for their fall from grace. In their eyes, she was the embodiment of mortal arrogance that had dared to challenge the Fae. The dark alliance between the Seelie and Unseelie courts intensified, and the boundary between the enchanted realm and the mortal world began to blur. Unholy creatures crossed into Alara's reality, bringing nightmares to life. The once healing mortal realm now faced an impending abyss, a consequence of Alara's attempt to mend the faerie's disdain for mankind. Determined to set things right, Alara sought guidance from ancient beings of light that had long been forgotten. These benevolent entities revealed a forgotten truth, a prophecy that foretold the rise of a mortal with the power to either save or doom both worlds. Alara, marked by destiny, had a choice to make. As the forces of darkness closed in, Alara faced a moral dilemma. The allure of the faerie's dark power whispered promises of revenge against those who had wronged her, but the ancient beings reminded her that true strength lay in resisting the corruption that sought to consume her. In a climactic confrontation, Alara confronted Titania and Oberon, wielding the forgotten magic bestowed upon her by the ancient beings. The battle between light and darkness unfolded, with the fate of both faerie and mortal realms hanging in the balance. The twisted fantasy reached its zenith, leaving Alara standing at the crossroads of destiny, her choice echoing through the fabric of reality. The outcome remained uncertain, as the dark twist in the tale continued to unfold, and the boundaries between light and shadow blurred into a haunting tapestry of uncertain fate. As Alara confronted Titania and Oberon, the ancient magic surged within her, granting her unimaginable power. The air crackled with energy as the forces of light clashed with the darkness that enveloped the corrupted faerie monarchs. In the midst of the cosmic struggle, Alara teetered on the brink of a choice that could tip the balance toward salvation or eternal damnation. The corrupted faerie monarchs, fueled by their thirst for vengeance, laughed maniacally, reveling in the chaos they had unleashed. With each clash, the once glorious realm of faerie crumbled further, and the fabric of reality unraveled. Shadows and tendrils of malevolence seeped into the mortal world, ensnaring cities and villages, corrupting the hearts of men, turning joy into despair. In a moment of desperation, Alara, faced with the magnitude of the dark forces, succumbed to the temptation of the faerie's power. The ancient magic, now tainted by her own desire for retribution, twisted and contorted, merging with the corrupted essence of the faerie monarchs. Alara's eyes, once filled with determination, now glowed with an ominous radiance. The ancient beings, witnessing the tragic turn of events, mourned the loss of a potential savior. They watched helplessly as Alara, now a vessel of both light and darkness, unleashed a cataclysmic wave of magic that tore through the enchanted forest and spilled into the mortal realm. Cities crumbled, skies darkened, and the cries of the innocent echoed through the desolation. Alara, now a harbinger of doom, stood amidst the ruins, her once beautiful form twisted and distorted by the malevolent forces she had unleashed. The corrupted faerie monarchs, no longer constrained by the remnants of their former selves, reveled in the devastation, their laughter echoing through the desolate landscape. The prophecy, once a glimmer of hope, now seemed like a cruel joke. The ancient beings, resigned to the inevitability of a world consumed by darkness, faded into the shadows, leaving behind a shattered reality. As the twisted fantasy unfolded, mortals who had survived the cataclysm lived in perpetual fear, their souls burdened by the weight of Alara's tragic choice. The faerie realm, now a nightmarish wasteland, became a breeding ground for unspeakable horrors that bled into the mortal world. And so, the once beautiful tale of Titania and Oberon's disdain for mankind evolved into a dark symphony of despair, with Alara at the center, a tragic figure forever bound to the consequences of her choices. The enchanted forest, now a haunted and desolate realm, served as a reminder that even the most well-intentioned actions could unleash unimaginable darkness upon the world. In the aftermath of Alara's tragic choice, the world languished in an eternal twilight. The corrupted faerie monarchs, now fused with the malevolent forces that Alara had unleashed, ruled over the desolate remnants of both faerie and the mortal realm. Their laughter echoed through the barren landscapes as twisted creatures prowled the shadows, feeding on the remnants of hope. Mankind, once vibrant and resilient, now existed as mere husks of their former selves. Cities lay in ruins, haunted by the ghosts of the past. The survivors, marked by the scars of Alara's betrayal, wandered through a world devoid of joy, their hearts heavy with the burden of eternal despair. Alara, now a spectral figure, roamed the desolation, trapped in a limbo between light and darkness. Her once beautiful features were marred by the anguish of her choice, and her eyes glowed with a haunting radiance that mirrored the shattered world around her. She was a reminder of the folly that had led to the unraveling of reality. The corrupted faerie monarchs reveled in their victory, their twisted forms seated upon thrones of bone and shadow. They watched with delight as the remnants of faerie and the mortal realm merged into a nightmarish amalgamation, a realm where nightmares took tangible form, and the echoes of suffering reverberated endlessly. The dark and grim ending cast a pall over both realms, forever extinguishing the glimmer of hope that had once burned within the hearts of mortals. The tapestry of existence, now stained with the blood of a world lost to darkness, served as a chilling testament to the consequences of the faerie's disdain for mankind and the tragic choices made in the pursuit of revenge. And so, the twisted fantasy came to a bleak conclusion, leaving behind a world shrouded in eternal night, where the laughter of corrupted faeries and the moans of the damned echoed through the desolation. The tale of Titania and Oberon's disdain for mankind ended not with redemption, but with a haunting lament that lingered in the cold winds that swept through the ruins of a once beautiful world.